When you pair Jayce and Silvermere Dawn together in the same game, you're gonna win. You're just gonna win. I'm not even kidding. It's the best build in the game. Let's break it down. Welcome back to another TFT breakdown. And today we're taking a look at the best build in the current set if you get the Silvermere Dawn artifact item. So this build actually clears the Gangplank Mentor reroll build. It's Jayce Caitlyn reroll, specifically the Silvermere Dawn artifact on Jayce. Jayce is a beast with it. We're going to go over the power-ups, the additional items, the reroll strategy, positioning, as well as the entire final board. And we're going to break it all down here in just a second. Let's go. Okay, let's start with items off the bat. The reason why we're going to start with items because it's the most important part of this build. You're going to only want to go this build if you secure a Silvermere Dawn artifact item. You're going to see from my gameplay right here, we start a little bit later in the game that you're seeing on screen. You're seeing my second augment was the portable forge augment, and I got the Silvermere Dawn artifact. I quickly positioned over to going this Jayce build, and it worked wonders. So you can swap out of a different build, flex into this one if you hit that artifact even later in the game. But if you get it early and you have an open line for it, you're not seeing any other Battle Academia players, go for it. It's insanely strong. And you'll see later in the gameplay as well that I'm clearing a fully kitted out Gangplank Mentor reroll build. This artifact item is insane on Jayce. So if you don't end up getting Silvermere Dawn, you can still go this build. However, I don't recommend it. There are some itemization options that help Jayce propel you to hopefully close to a 5th, a 4th, but that's realistically all you're going for if you don't have this artifact item. But if you still play it, you can still play it. And the items are Edge of Night, IE, Guard Breaker. You can throw in a Hodge or a BT if that's all you can make. But again, I don't recommend it without the Silvermere Dawn artifact item. Now, items with it in this build, what you're going to want to complement the Silvermere Dawn artifact item with is BT and Sterix. The reason why is you want that survivability. Jayce needs to survive. The amount of damage that they do is insane with this item as it is. So you just want to pair it with those regenerative health items. So Bloodthirster, Sterix work wonders with it. You can put Hodge on it if you need to, or even Edge of Night if you can't make those two items. But best in slot, Giga best in slot, is the Sterix and the BT. Now, Jayce and Silvermere Dawn aren't the only thing that make this build work. So Leona, when you 2-star them, they have an average placement essentially that jumps up from in the 2s to high 1s. So you're essentially guaranteed to almost finish second every single game if you cap out this board with a 2-star Leona. So obviously, without it having to be really said, Leona is your main tank. So tank items on Leona, they can vary a bit. Essentially, you're going to put what you can get. However, you do want Even Shroud. Even Shroud for the late game is exceptional. You can pair it with Sunfires for that anti-heal. You could do the Warmogs, Declaw, Brambles, Spirit Visage, whatever works for you in terms of items that you have left over that you can make. You slam those tank items on Leona, and then you can make the choice between Kabuko or Rakan as your secondary tank if you just have a crap ton of items available to you. And the fun part about this build is the Caitlyn complement, as Caitlyn is your secondary carry and is actually going to do a lot of damage in addition to the Jayce. So for Caitlyn, you're going to want Shojins, IE, and Deathblade. You can finagle it a bit and put Last Whisperer. You can put Giant Slayer, any kind of the AD items that are left over. However, best in slot is the IE, Deathblade, and Shojins, as you want Caitlyn to cast a lot and you want them to snipe the enemy backline. Think back to the Arcane set with Maddie sniping the backline. Very similar, and that's why we're going to talk about positioning a little bit later to kind of go over how you position this build to maximize the damage that Caitlyn does from the backline. Okay, so before we get to positioning, because that's a big factor in this build, we're just going to quickly touch on the power-ups, as power-ups is the set mechanic for set 15, and tailoring them and having the right ones on your carries make all the difference. In this build, you can get away with it more than, let's say, the Gangplank reroll build, because that one you need stretchy arms, you need that range for the Gangplank. Here, you can get away with some of the AD ones for Jayce, as well as other AD ones for Caitlyn that aren't in the best in slot. However, best in slot is always best in slot for a reason. Getting that extra leg up with power-ups can mean the difference between first, second, and third with this build specifically once you're fully capped and you're facing the fully capped Karma boards, fully capped GP boards. So you really need to have those ideal power-ups. So let's go through Jayce's to start. Jayce likes Star Student. This is a specific power up for the Battle Academia trait, and it provides them that extra, I forget the word for it. What's it called? It's the potential, the Battle Academia potential, and it gets extra health. Now, you can put that star student on another Battle Academia unit, so you can do Caitlyn, Yuumi, even Rakan, whoever, to get that second added tier to it in the early game. Because you want to get to 7 quick, you can use that early game to essentially get the extra XP, because the star student power up, when it's that second tier, you gain 1 XP per round and another 1 for each surviving star student. So essentially, if those units survive the entire round, you're getting 3 XP potentially every single round. That is huge in the early game when you're trying to get to that level 7 to reroll for Jayce, because you already know it's going to be a tough reroll build when it's a 3 cost. You need that 3-star Jayce, you need that 3-star Caitlyn, which we'll get to in a bit. But by getting to 7 early, it allows you to have that extra gold, that early tempo to get those 3 stars before the lobby fully caps out. So this is a great power up for not only Jayce throughout the entire game, it's their best in slot, but to have on an additional Battle Academia unit in the early game to help essentially get you to level 7 as soon as possible. Now, when you're level 7, you can take it off, whoever you have it on, and put that secondary one on Caitlyn. We're going to go over Caitlyn's power-ups in a second, but Star Student is the best for Jayce. Warming up is another good one. So the warming up power-up here, you essentially gain 48 armor and magic resistance, and then every second you convert 3 of the resists into 3% attack damage. So this just provides you extra attack damage throughout the fight. So essentially for Jayce, warming up is great. A great secondary power-up if you don't hit that Star Student. Additionally, you can also play Trickster. Trickster is a really fun one on Jayce, as at low health you gain 8% damage amp, you spawn a training dummy, and you dash to the furthest enemy. So by having Jayce dash to the furthest enemy with Silvermere Dawn, it allows you to just destroy, hopefully, the backline whenever they dash. So having this power up is efficient as well for your carry. So again, Star Student, Trickster, warming up, all great power ups to have on Jayce. Again, if you don't hit these 3, it's not the end of the world. The main condition of this build, like we mentioned, is the Silvermere Dawn artifact. That's all essentially you need. You could do any other power-ups that kind of provide AD or survivability for Jayce, but they're best in slot. Again, Star Student, Trickster, warming up. Those are the 3 you want. Moving on to Caitlyn. So for Caitlyn, you're going to want a few. Shadow Clone is exceptional for all the AD carries. Great with Ashe, or even AP carries, sorry. Great with Karma. They work well. So obviously it works well with Caitlyn as well. You can have 2 Caitlyns essentially sniping the backline. It makes for great fun as well once we get to the positioning aspect of it. And you can essentially erase the opponent's backline with 1 ultimate from each of them. So Shadow Clone, great power up. Efficient is also great. Efficient essentially allows abilities to cost 20 less mana. So pair that with the Shojins and you're just firing your ultimate every 2 seconds. By doing that, you are erasing their backline, even mowing through the frontline tanks with this specific power up. That's what makes it so great on Caitlyn. Precision is another good one. If you see from this gameplay, I do use it a little bit. I didn't find it too powerful. It wasn't horrible. Of course, it did its job, but it is an option to have. However, it doesn't feel as strong as the other 2. So Shadow Clone, Efficient are great, but Precision, here's what it does. It sets attack speed to 70. You convert 1% of the attack speed to attack damage, and the attacks deal 130% more attack damage, and you get some mana involved. So you do a lot more damage, you attack a lot slower, but that extra damage works wonders when it's against the backline. That's what makes it so powerful on Caitlyn. However, personally, I still prefer the other 2, Shadow Clone and Efficient. But those are Caitlyn's power-ups. Those are Jayce's power-ups. Those are the only 2 people you want powered up in this specific build, unless you don't 3-star the Caitlyn. If you don't 3-star the Caitlyn and you have some items left over maybe for Yuumi, you can power up Yuumi with Yuumi's power-ups. However, Caitlyn is the one you want as your secondary power-up and your secondary carry. Okay, positioning. Positioning here, I'm going to put up a little example on screen, but positioning is key for this build. You don't have to do this. As you find in my gameplay here, I do switch it up late game to beat the GP reroll with just kind of standard positioning. However, if you want to try to snipe the enemy backline and have some fun, you can do the positioning this way. As you're seeing on screen here, as a kind of little pop-up, Caitlyn is in the middle of your backline. You want to spread out your front kind of tanks, attack damage dealers, so Jayce and then your other tanks, to either side to kind of clear a path. Realistically, essentially, when the fight starts, what you want to happen is to have their front line kind of disperse to either side to either take on your Jayce, your Rakan, or your Leona and your Kabuko, and leave that little gap open, because as Caitlyn kind of ramps up and uses their ult, by hitting the furthest enemy away, realistically or ideally, they're going to hit the backline. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. Think back to Maddie again with Into the Arcane. It's all kind of down to luck of the draw sometimes, but the positioning like this gives you the best opportunity to hit the backline. It doesn't mean you're going to every round, but again, the best opportunity. Now, you don't have to do it like this. You can just do it frontline everybody, Jayce, Rakan, Kabuko, Garen, Leona up front. Kind of have Jayce in the middle there, maybe off to the right, same side the Jayce as your backline carries. So whatever side you have Caitlyn on, keep Jayce the same side. Reason being, you're attacking the same kind of units, powering through them as quickly as possible so that you just slowly erase the boards, kind of A to B to C to D, instead of kind of having your powerful units attacking different tanks up front. So that's the goal there if you're having it along this kind of standard positioning. Now, another quick note regarding positioning, you're going to want to opposite the main tank. If you can opposite your Jayce and your carries if you're playing the standard positioning from the main tank, that's key because it helps you destroy the units faster before getting to that main tank. Okay, now let's talk final board and openers. So for final board, it's as simple as 7 Battle Academia. You're going to kind of play around with it depending on what units you have when you are level 7 doing the reroll. You can essentially have a sniper such as, so late game you're going to want Varus if you can get it at level 9 if you get there. We'll talk to that in a second. But Jhin works well as well because it allows you to have that sniper trait in there when you're rerolling for your Caitlyn, as Caitlyn does a lot of damage. So getting sniper online is efficient. You could also toss in Kabuko. Kabuko works well with the mentor buff. Having them up front there is also exceptional. But you can play around with it like I mentioned. You can just have 7 straight Battle Academia if you get that Leona and you get that Yuumi at level 7. Otherwise, you have that Kabuko, you have that Jhin/Varus if you get lucky with a Varus somehow. And it lets you kind of have 5 Battle Academia, the sniper for Kate, and then the mentor buff in Kabuko. But if you get lucky and you get that 7 Battle Academia, you can just play that until you 3-star your Jayce, 3-star your Caitlyn, and then you level to 8. Once you're 8, you toss in the sniper. If you get to 9 somehow, you can toss in the Kabuko, or vice versa, whatever works for you. The main thing is having that 7 Battle Academia as soon as possible to really get Jayce and Caitlyn online once they are 3-starred. So that's essentially the final build. Varus is kind of the max cap there. If you can get to level 9, if it's a high tempo game, kind of a Scuttle Puddle, Crab Rave, something like that, that gives you a lot of money. After you 3-star your Caitlyn, 3-star your Jayce, you just essentially power level, get to 9, you toss in the Varus, and you're good to go. And for your early board, there's not much to say about early board. It's pretty straightforward. You want the strongest board possible to get you to level 7 for that reroll. But if you end up getting 5 Battle Academia somehow, play 5 Battle Academia. Otherwise, it's going to be 3. You go 3 and you pair the Rakan with another protector up front, maybe a Malphite, maybe a Kennen. And then the Garen you can pair with the Bastion. You could do a Rel or any kind of other Bastion that's available to you there. And just kind of have that strong early game to help win as many rounds as possible to get you to level 7. You can put items on Ezreal for the time being, or any other backline carry that you could find. Any kind of synergies you can make work in the early game. Your goal here is just to get that Jayce and put that Silvermere Dawn on Jayce to start wreaking havoc. Okay, last but not least, augments. So there's a few augments you're going to want to go. As you saw from the items, we talked about Deathblade being a big one on Caitlyn. So if somehow you get the Deadlier Blades augment, which is the Deathblade specific augment that kind of boosts the percentage of attack damage per takedowns, it works wonders on Caitlyn. It is completely broken because if Caitlyn's just sniping the backline, getting takedowns, increasing their attack damage with this augment, you are smooth sailing through a free first with a build that's already going to get you a free first. This is just the cherry on top. Additionally, other gold augments, you can do Heroic Grab Bag, Climb the Ladder. They work well as well. For silver augments, Rigged Shot Plus is a good one. The reason for that is you get a different unit, 3 costs or below from your shop each round. It could be a Jayce, it could be a Caitlyn, and that's what you need in terms of the reroll builds. You can go Prismatic Ticket for the prismatic augments to help with the rerolls. You could go invested plus 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 or whatever it's called. I think there's a lot less pluses, but you know the drill. That's a great one. Any kind of econ augment that will let you get to level 7 fast enough or give you some gold to play with when you are level 7 to hit the 3-star Jayce, 3-star Caitlyn. As that's essentially the main part of this build. The one condition is Silvermere Dawn. The second condition, if you can call it a condition, is just 3-starring your Jayce, 3-starring your Caitlyn, as this is a level 7 reroll build. Now, for Jayce specifically, you need to get them 3-starred. It is an absolute priority. So having that econ augment to get you to 7 quick, or having that extra gold available, that is key. But don't take too many. Don't take, for example, heroic grab bag and invested plus plus. You can, if you find yourself a high tempo, pretty strong lead, but it's not recommended. You want at least one combat augment. Climb the ladder is really good. You can even do trifecta. That's a great one because this build has 2-3 costs in it. You can buff the 3 costs. But any kind of combat augment you want late game, early game, you want to focus on that econ. You want that either XP or that money to get you to level 7 and get those 3-star 3 costs. One more augment I almost forgot about, Portable Forge. Obviously, if you can get Portable Forge for that Silvermere Dawn, that's essentially a no-brainer. Other than the econ augments, you want that Silvermere Dawn. That's the only way you're going to be playing this build. So you can do an encounter, the encounter that gives you the artifact item. That works too. But the main thing is Silvermere Dawn, you need it. It's the only way you should be playing this build in this current meta. It's an absolute must, but it is the best build in the game. That essentially is the gist of the build. That's all you're going to want to do is 3-star your Jayce, 3-star your Caitlyn, get 7 Battle Academia in there, add a Sniper for Caitlyn, add Kabuko for Mentor if you get to level 9. Chances are you won't get there, but that's okay. Staying at level 7 with those 2 3-star units and Silvermere Dawn on your Jayce, you are going to clear boards as you just saw in the gameplay that I'm showing right now. So let me know how this works for you if you've tried this build before, or if you're going to try it, come back in the comments and let me know. Like this video if you made it this far, and as always, subscribe for more because we are coming through with a lot of meta builds. I'm just going to be bringing you the best of the best niche builds like this or popular builds like the Gangplank one we just did. Either way, I'll have it on my channel. I'll see you guys on the next one, and as always, good luck on the grind.